Alright, so welcome to another video in this mini course on pixel therapy. And this video is about the magic of love. So, what are we talking about? Love is simply the feeling that you know very well when you have love for somebody, or when you are witnessing a beautiful landscape or a piece of art, or doing something that you really enjoy, and you have this feeling of warmth in the heart and the feeling that you love a person or something that you're doing. And this feeling is something that we know very well to use, and we know how to use it when we love somebody else. Now, something that's going to be really useful in itself for the healing practice, but also for our quality of life and our well-being in general, is to learn to love ourselves. So what does that mean? We're not talking about self-aggrandizing yourself or not recognizing who you are and trying to put a beautiful image on something that is not true. No, what we are going to do is to be authentic with ourselves and kind. And the healing techniques that we use in pixel therapy only work if you have this intention of doing your own good. Because if you're fighting yourself, if you're going against what you're feeling, or if you're not accepting yourself, or if you have some negative emotion around yourself, then who is going to win? Well, not you, not your conscious mind, but the unconscious mind that is rigged on maintaining its homeostasis, its status quo, will keep fighting you. So you cannot fight against your nervous system. You can only work with him and make an ally of him. So how do we do this when we're practicing something that is really about emotions and sensation, like pixel therapy? Well, we use the feeling of love. And the feeling of love doesn't have to be something strange, or it's not something religious or something extraordinary, just the feeling that you want your own well-being and you can appreciate yourself. And when you're doing the healing, when you find an emotion that you want to work on and you are doing the tapping, you can also generate the feeling of love and give it to yourself. Another way to put it is to imagine that you're working with a part of yourself that has been hurt. And it's like a little child and trying to reconcile the child, to help him, to comfort him. So if, for example, I have a fear in my heart and I'm trying to tap on the fear, but I don't have this feeling of love, it might be a bit difficult to go to the end of the technique and to really enjoy the benefit of it. But if you can also at the same time have this feeling of love for your hurt heart, then you will notice that the healing is much easier and faster, right? Because when you love yourself, there is no more conflict, there is no more friction or opposition. It's actually the opposite that you're trying to achieve. We're trying to be whole and to be united and to be one with ourselves. So the feeling of love is really the feeling that will make everything come together. It's like a glue, and when you can evoke this feeling of love within yourself, then all the parts of yourself come together, and healing is much easier. So how do you do that? How do I evoke this feeling of love? Well, it's something that you can learn to do, and it comes more or less easily for different people. But one technique that you can use is to focus on somebody else that you love dearly. So it can be somebody from your family, it can be a child, it can even be a pet animal that you have, or something or somebody for whom you have this feeling of love, and it's easy to love that person. Don't pick somebody with whom you also have conflicts. Just pick somebody with whom it's easy to feel love. And you feel that feeling that when you focus on that person, you have this love, and generally it comes from the heart, and it's a positive sensation, and it's warm, and you know what it is. Now, while you focus on this feeling and closing your eyes to really sense this feeling of love, you can maintain that feeling and stop thinking about the other person that you were thinking about, but maintain this feeling of love as a pure physical sensation and emotion, and give it to yourself. And when you give it to yourself, you will actually say something like, I love myself. And when you do this, you probably will feel that there is something positive that happens because you allow yourself to be kind to yourself. And sometimes that's what we need, especially when we've been hurt or upset or in some other negative circumstances. So the fact that we can love ourselves is really what we need, what can reassure us and what can allow the healing to happen, because you're calming, you're comforting the subconscious part of yourself who are like little children and they need safety. And love is associated with safety, right? So when you love yourself, you're giving also yourself this positive space for in which for a moment there will be nothing else but just kindness and wanting your own good. So that's the practice of love. And the more you do it, the more you will notice that every time you're trying to do a healing, it's actually easier and faster because all of you come together. So have good practice, and we'll talk about love again soon, I'm sure. Talk to you soon, but have a good practice.